Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Hello. Yes, I am early. As I said earlier on the morning stream, we were having friends over, and I had no idea what time any of them were leaving, since some of them had work in the morning, and we weren't going to try and push them out or anything to that effect, so they just left, and so I am on early, and that way I don't have to be on until 11 p.m. at night, because I also need to get some sleep at some point. So what is going on? Ethan Boyd, what's going on, Ethan? Hope you are enjoying your summer vacation so far. Lily Patton, what's going on? Bad Nerd Fun. Stevie J Movie Reviews, good day, everyone. Good day to you, sir. Zippo Fanatic, what's going on? Alex McCarthy, yay, what's going on? How is it going? Lou, what's up? Lou, Super Anime Gamer, what's up, my dude? What is up? What's up? Yes, it is indeed a late stream. And that is, of course, because I had friends over and could not cancel. Edrop Production says, your loyal court jester has returned to the kingdom of Asgard. Well, thank you very much for that. It's a trap. I appreciate you. Tina is here as well. McQueen, what's going on, McQueen? Lou says, hello, mate. How's your day been? Day has been very, very busy. For those who've been following, you knew that I had a morning stream this morning, because I'm going to try and start doing Monday through Thursday morning streams in addition to my normal evening streams. And just so you guys know, tomorrow's stream will also be later than normal, probably around 8:30 Central Standard Time start for that one, because I have rehearsal tomorrow. And so, as I said, the night streams are going to be kind of out of whack for the next month or so, just because of the fact that I'm doing the show. And that's why, one of the many reasons why I'm adding on the morning shows, so that way I can get you guys as much content as possible. Stephanie B says, McQueen, what is going on? Stephanie B, sorry. Oh, yes, so sorry indeed. Blake Hemlow, what's going on? Perth Comics is here. Perth, what's going on, bruv? How is it going? How is it going, indeed? Baby Friends says, making a video, of course. We'll hope the video turns out fine. Dean Heiss, happy Memorial Day. Yes, indeed, happy Memorial Day. Prayers to all of those who have served, all of those lives who have been lost through service, and to anyone who is someone who has served in the military or is a family member of someone who served in the military, especially those who have lost anyone who has served. Thank you so much for your service. We fully support you, we fully support your families, and we just want to make sure that that is made very clear. So again, blessed Memorial Day, praying for everyone, and also thank you so much for your service indeed. Brad Beer Hunter, what's going on, man? He's over on D Live. He says, so we're watching Last Jedi then. Yeah, so tomorrow we are doing a movie morning stream over on D Live, and we have not decided yet exactly what movie we'll be watching. I'm stuck between us doing a public domain movie, that way all of us can watch it, and there's never going to be a problem of someone not being able to have access to it, or just pulling a totally random film out of nowhere for the first stream. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Piro, what's going on, bruv? Piro. What is going on? What is going on? He says, one of my favorite YouTubers. Well, thank you very much, Ro. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that very much. So, Super Anime Gamer says, I'm doing okay. Kind of stressing about the week and hating being an adult. But it's late. I'm chilling, watching some good TV, and listening to your stream. So much happier now. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Super Anime Gamer. And for any sports fans out there, if you're watching the Stanley Cup Finals, I'll say go Blues. I will say go Blues. Once in a lifetime event. Go Blues. They were up last time I checked in the second period. So, Poppy 10, what is going on, Poppy 10, over on D Live? What is going on? How is it going? Jeepers Turtle says, Odin, what's going on, Jeepers Turtle? How is it going? Interdrop Production says, my lord, let's rewatch Godzilla in the lead up to King of the Monsters. Ooh, Godzilla 2014? That is definitely a possibility. CM Chunk, what's going on, CM Chunk? Hi, Brad, not bad. Good to hear it, Poppyton. Good to hear it indeed. All right, well, again, we are now back to the regular schedule. So Sonic has been delayed. So that is the first news item of the day. For those that have not been following, Sonic has been delayed until 2020, February of 2020, by the director, as word from Jeff Fowler, the director of the movie, has said, we are going to get this right. We are going to get the effects for Sonic right. And I'm assuming, since they're delaying it that long, that they're also going to be changing other elements to try and make it the best movie possible. So I think that is a very good decision on his part. And I think that it really does speak a lot to these other studios that don't really listen, that don't really pay attention to their fan base very much. And I think that if Jeff Fowler is able to somehow get Sonic to be a film that is at least profitable, I don't think it's going to be a gigantic hit, but just even profitable, I think that he'll show that if you listen to the fans and you wait and you give the fans what they want, that you can indeed make money off of that. You can indeed make fans happy. And when fans are happy, fans buy tickets, fans buy merchandise, and fans go see movies multiple times. So hopefully it sets a new standard, but of course, that is wishful thinking on my part. So yeah, Sonic has been delayed until 2020. Of course, the Batwoman trailer has now broken records with having over 300,000 dislikes. If you have not seen the Batwoman trailer yet, don't, because it's awful. But if you really want to put yourself through a lot of cringe, through a lot of SJW identity politics cringe, then please go ahead and watch it and dislike it yourself, because it is awful. Seriously, just the one line that always gets to me is the line when she says, "Oh, the suit will be perfect when it fits a woman." It's just, really, you're pandering that much? You have to push that hard? You have to push that much with this nonsense? You can't just let her be a character? But no, you have to make it all about identity politics. Great. I know that I'll not be watching a single episode of your show now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not even to hate watch it. Not even to hate watch it, because I don't want it to get any pickup whatsoever. Alice McCarthy says, Odin knows what I'm watching right now. Oh, I know what you watch, and you watch some Monday Night Raw, and we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. So I'm going to catch up with that sometime tomorrow, and we will catch up with that on Wednesday. Blake says, I picked the Blues while my buddy picked the Bruins. I hope I don't lose the bet we made. Oh, I hope he didn't bet too much on it, man. Lou says, have you ever watched the Australian classic, The Castle? You should, since you haven't. Yeah, I have not seen the... Wait. Is that the one that's set in prison? Maybe I'm thinking of a different film. G-Monkey, what's going on, G-Monkey? How is it going? Glad to see you once again. He was with me in the morning stream as well. It's amazing how much time has flown by since the morning stream. It's been over 12 hours since that stream. Super says, you should totally watch Reefer Madness on DLive. Pretty sure that's public domain. It is public domain. The original Reefer Madness is. It is an option. It is one of the public domain films that is recommended. So that is totally an option. Totally could happen tomorrow. 70B says, can we have a schedule in our group chat? I'm very worried I won't be able to make it. Hey, 70B, no problem at all. Again, no problem at all. I did put a schedule up on Discord, and I will try and get the schedule in over on our chat as well on Twitter. So for those that don't know, Monday mornings, the times are always going to be the same, at least for this week. This is kind of like the testing ground week, so we'll see if we're going to change the time at all. But right now, the time is set to be 9 a.m. to around 10:30 a.m. Now, on movie streams, if it's a longer stream, then the stream will go until the movie ends. So 9 a.m. to 10:30 is the time slot that we have for tomorrow. But it's going to be on DLive. So again, it's going to be exclusive to DLive, since we're going to try and get the audio to come through, so that way people can hear the movie. If they can't possibly watch it, they can at least know what's going on and hear some of the things going on in the movie, because DLive is not nearly as strict about copyright, because again, it's really protected under fair use. The problem is that YouTube, just anytime there is even a potential claim, automatically strikes a video, automatically strikes a channel. DLive, it's like, well, no, this isn't our responsibility, this isn't our fault, so we're not going to do anything. And so studios aren't really going to go out of their way to say, oh, this person is watching a movie and making commentary on it. It's like, well, obviously, I'm not claiming it as my own. I'm not claiming that it is my own content. I am instead making commentary on that content, which is protected under fair use, if we're really going to dig down deep. So that's why I'm doing it on DLive, because I'll have a little bit more freedom to do so. But even if not, if we do public domain, then I can actually show you the movie as we watch it as well. But it's also to kind of try and give, I'm trying to because I already have the night streams dedicated to the main channel, and because I have the Monday morning stream dedicated to the main channel, Tuesdays are going to be dedicated to DLive. And then Wednesday mornings, those are going to be my wrestling streams, and those wrestling streams will be live on both DLive, Periscope, and also the Welcome to Asgard secondary channel. So not on the main channel, but on the secondary channel. And then on Thursday, that is going to be my Twitch exclusive stream, where it's going to be open forum chat while also possibly doing a little gaming. So if you're a gamer and you do things like Fortnite or any of those free games that I don't have to pay for, at least at this point, maybe in the future, maybe if it does very well, I'll be able to start to buy games and play those games with you, PC games. But until then, it'll be probably free games for now. But those will be on Thursdays, all right? So that is currently the schedule, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And again, Tuesdays would be the only time that would go much longer than 10:30, is if the movie is about 2 hours or so. But yes, and also, please know, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not going to get burnt out this summer, so that's why this week is totally a test run. And so if by Friday I'm like, hey, I think I can do this, I think that I could totally move with this schedule, then I'll probably stick with that, and the times probably won't change that much, because I'm getting up early anyway. I'm already going up to go, so I'm going to Latin Mass in the mornings, because one of the churches, my parish church, is offering a 7:15 Latin Mass, and I wanted to go to it during the school year, but obviously because the school could not make it to that time period, went to my first this morning. It was awesome. It was beautiful. And so, because I'm already going to be up that early anyway, I figure, hey, might as well try and do a lot of streaming. Someone says we have a lot of dislikes already? What? Why? Why would anyone dislike? That is a lot of thumbs down. Sorry. Sorry, Laura. Okay, you're talking about the Wonder Woman. Yeah, I mean, not the Wonder Woman. The Batwoman trailer. Yeah, 300,000. It's not good. That is not good. That is not good at all. Yivo says, I think he announced they would redesign before talking about to his animators and finding out how long it would take. Yeah, absolutely. And I really honestly think that at this point, we are going to have a film that I know I now want to see. And it's purely because Jeff Fowler said, hey, I heard the criticism of the fans. I think the fans are right. And I think that we need to take more time to make this the best movie possible. Now, does that mean it's going to be a great movie? Probably not. But at least they're trying. At least they are pushing things back. At least they are doing the very best that they can to make it as good. And again, at least they're listening to the fans. At least they're hearing the criticism and taking it. Unlike Lucasfilm, which is, oh, you're criticizing us? Oh, well, then that makes you a racist. That makes you a sexist. Notice how you have very different approaches to the fan bases, from Sonic to Lucasfilm. And if I was having to pick between both properties, if they came out on the same day, based on everything that's happened so far, I would see Sonic in a heartbeat. Because I would say, well, you know what? At the very least, if I have to pick one, I'm going to go see the movie where the director does not hate me for being critical of the product and is trying to change the product and make it better. Alexander says, did you hear that HBO threatened to frivolously sue Trump over a meme using Game of Thrones title, font, and another one that said indictments are coming? I did not hear about that. I don't really care about that nonsense. Stevie J Movie Review says, what about X-Whammon? Let's hope not. I heard that in like the basic, I haven't seen the full article yet on that. Wasn't that Jennifer Lawrence who said something about the name changing? Well, let's just be honest. We're not getting X-Men for another 5 years or so. So they hopefully over that 5-year period wise up and realize they need to start making some better decisions on casting, on writing, on choosing directors, because if the X-Men are going to succeed, it needs to be top notch. It needs to be X-Men First Class level. It needs to be X-Men Days of Future Past level. If they go in the Apocalypse route or what seems to be the Dark Phoenix route, it's just never going to take off the ground. Hammer says, hey Odin, Denis Villeneuve is shooting Dune in 6.5K instead of using 3.4K like his previous movies. That sounds awesome to me, because that means that whenever it's released in Dolby or IMAX, it's going to be crisp and beautiful, and I cannot wait to see it. It is going to be awesome. Lou says, nah, it's not the Prism. Okay, gotcha, Lou. Gotcha. I was thinking of a different film then. Lily Patton, what's going on, says, how many future DC and Marvel movies will go woke in your opinion? I hope 0. However, based on the next couple of years, because we don't know the full slate of films for Marvel yet, we know that we have Birds of Prey coming out for DC next year. Birds of Prey has a lot of potential to go woke, and one of the many reasons why I think that is because the main screenwriter is the same person that wrote Bumblebee. And if there's one thing that I could say about Bumblebee, the writing was terrible because the person just did not know how to write a female character without it just being totally awful. So, with that being the case, I think that has the most potential, DC film-wise, to be woke, as you could say. I think Wonder Woman 1984, as long as it continues to do the same things that it was doing in the first film, it's going to be fine. There's no reason for them to go woke there, and it seems to me that Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot are not those types of people where, yeah, if you press them on something, they might make comments, but to me, they are more commonsensical. To me, they are actual feminists, or at least they come across as being actual authentic feminists, and not these, not these fake feminazi types that are pushing for diversity, but actually don't want diversity, don't want equality, but rather want everything to just be turned on its head and for chaos to happen. For Marvel, it's going to be a bit of a different story because we don't have official movie titles yet for next year. However, it seems to me that the Eternals is going woke in the fact that they're making one of those characters gay when the character in the comics is not. And so to me, that is an unnecessary change. I've said this many times before. If you want to make a movie featuring a gay superhero, there's no problem with that as long as there's a basis for that character in the comics, which guess what? There are plenty of characters in the comics, the X-Men especially. But what are they doing with the X-Men? They're pushing that back 5 years. So again, if they're going to go ahead and try and twist and churn characters to fit a social narrative, that's going to receive blowback. And guess what's going to happen? People like me are going to be called a homophobe. Oh, you just hate people who are gay. Really? Really? I know I have people watching my channel who support my channel who can tell very clearly that that's not the case. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Stop trying to make characters into something that they're not for a social agenda, and instead just make good characters. Just make good, strong characters with good, strong character arcs, and we will like it. We will support it. That's all we want. Stevie J Movie Review says, you're thinking of The Last Castle with Robert Redford. That is exactly what I am thinking of. D&I says, sometimes I wonder if these actresses that deliver these cringeworthy lines are actually feeling that way. I feel like Brie does. I don't know about the others. Yeah, I don't really know if Ruby Rose feels the way. Feels the same way that she does in the lines that she's been given. So it's harder to tell with her. But at the same time, I think that because of just how robotic her performance is and how bad the lines are, I just can't for the life of me see that movie, that series, making it past 2 seasons. Some people say, oh, it's going to be canceled mid-season 1. Remember, this is a series that is going to be, based on the trailer, the total embodiment of what they've been trying to do for the last several years in the comic industry, of pushing this social justice warrior mindset, this identity politics nonsense. So they're going to push it. Even if it doesn't do well, they're going to push it as far as they can. So I honestly think, I keep saying Wonder Woman, that Batwoman is going to get a full season, and it might even get a season 2. But beyond that, especially if it goes in the direction, if the trailer is to be believed, if the character established in the trailer is to be believed, at that point, I do not see how any general audience member can stay on watching it. It just would not make any sense to me, because basically you're alienating not just half of your audience, because some people like to think of it as half men, half women. You are alienating most of your audience, because who reads comics? For the most part, it's mostly men. And so therefore, if you're going to say, we're going to make a Batwoman series, guess who are more likely to watch that series? Men. Now, you might get more women than usual, which could be the case, and maybe they're going to try and say, well, we want this series to be more focused on bringing in more female audiences. Okay, but guess what? Many women in this chat especially can attest to the fact that if you're going to pander to them like that, with crappy dialogue and crappy character development and just a crappy character in general with no life to them, they're not going to buy into it either. So they are alienating an entire group of people that would take up normally the majority of their audience. And then the audience that they're trying to bring in, many of them are going to openly reject it because it is ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, it just boggles my mind. It really does. How they think that this is going to sell. How they think that they're going to be able to have a hit on their hands. Because opening show, like their first episode for Batwoman, could do well. Because people are going to be interested to see, is this show going to be anything like its trailer? But I have a feeling it's going to be just like Doctor Who, where that first episode, yeah, it might be great, but then it plummets not long after. Once people realize that, yeah, it is as bad as we thought it was going to be. CWD Trixie says, for what The Rise of Skywalker comes about, should do a watch of the holiday special. Oh, yes, for sure. That would be one to do over the summer, actually, because come on, Christmas in July, let's do that. Because I'm not going to be able to do the morning movie streams during the school year. It's a Trap Production says, wrestling streams, I will be there, me lord. Awesome, It's a Trap. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, that's going to be on Wednesdays. So we'll be talking, of course, about, we're going to talk about WWE, so we're talking about Raw and SmackDown. But also, this week especially, we're going to talk about that AEW show, which was freaking awesome. It was so good, and there were so many storylines. I mean, seriously, the storylines from AEW show this weekend were better than, I would say, 80+% of the movies that came out this past year. That is how good the storytelling was. DC Marvel over on YouTube says, are you excited for the NBA Finals? I am a Canadian fan, so I am. Kawi is an amazing player. What about you? Who are you rooting for? Thanks for your videos. Well, thank you, DC Marvel. I appreciate that. I am not a basketball fan. I'm straight up not a basketball fan, so I do not have a horse in that race, but I think it is awesome that the Raptors made it into the finals, and so even though I don't care, I will always cheer for underdogs, and so go Raptors, man. Let Canada get some stuff. Let Canada get some wins there. Soul Assassin says, can you imagine, though highly unlikely, that Sonic beats The Rise of Skywalker in the theaters? It won't. It won't. And there's no chance. It's just like some people who thought that Detective Pikachu was going to be this billion-dollar film. No, of course not. Of course it's not going to be that. It just doesn't have the market for it. Sonic doesn't have the market for it either. Sonic is going to be lucky to make profit. However, I think that Sonic is going to be in a much better position in February of 2020 after they have now just come out and said, oh, we're listening to our fans, we're going to make these changes and then re-release it. I think that it is in a much better position at this point to make money, to be profitable. But there's no way, no chance in hell is Sonic going to get even close to Rise of Skywalker. Because even though I think that Rise of Skywalker is going to be just, well, as far as box office goes compared to other films. I think it's going to fall closer between, I would say, $800 million minimum, $1.2 billion maximum. Somewhere in that range. It's not going to make more than The Last Jedi, I would suspect, though, of course, a lot can happen between now and then. And it's not going to make less than $800 million just because Disney is going to saturate the market so much. It's going to have the average ticket price for that film be so much because of 3D showings, IMAX showings, etc. And it's going to make a lot of money because of that. But just remember, those films do not do well in China. Star Wars does not sell well in China, and if they can't get the Chinese audiences to finally back a film, keep this in mind too. Every film that has come out in China has made less and less. Force Awakens made the most, and then it just made less and less. In fact, you know what? Fun fact. The Last Jedi made less in China than Rogue One did. And Last Jedi was a much bigger film, much bigger promotion, was a part of the canonical story. So that should tell you about what China thinks about Star Wars at this point. So, of course, no one came to see Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, is it going to do Solo bad? Probably not. But I would say it might very much get close to, if not less than, what The Last Jedi made. And if that's what it makes in China, it's going to be very hard to sell in other countries too. And that's why, again, I have it not being $1.3 billion. It's going to be, I think, well below that. Nostalgia Network says, did you hear about the Vanity Fair, the Rise of Skywalker deceptive Luke Skywalker picture? Thoughts? No, I have not. I have not looked into that yet. Super says, of course, listening to the fans is awesome, and I don't want to downplay it, but I'm curious too. Do you think the look and reaction to Detective Pikachu played any part? I mean, I think that they delayed it because of the fan reaction, because the fan backlash to that trailer was pretty brutal. Like, let's just be honest, to the Sonic trailer. Detective Pikachu did well because it not only was able to play to the fan base and give that sense of nostalgia and that sense of fan service, but also it was because Ryan Reynolds was attached to it. If Ryan Reynolds was not attached to Pikachu, I don't think the film would be as successful as it is right now. And so I think what they realized was that, okay, we need this film to be for Sonic to be the best film it possibly can because it already has a ceiling. There's no chance it's going to make over like $350 million. There's no chance in hell it's going to be a it's going to be a $400 million film. There's no way. So how can we make a film that's going to at least make enough to break even? If not, maybe even make a little bit of a profit. So I think that drove them more than anything else. Stevie J Movie Review says, J Law says in the trailer for Dark Phoenix, maybe we should change the name to X Women. Really? I have not seen this new trailer. I have not seen that. I've only ever seen the trailer where it's like going through all the different history and her character says, we're X-Men. So that is interesting. That is very interesting. Lou says, is it even really Star Wars without trade disputes? It certainly doesn't feel that way. Perth Comics says, Ruby Rose is a big SJW. She has been downtrodden by us Aussies for decades, apparently. Oh, Perth Comics coming in with the truth. Thank you for letting me know, man. And that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes because it seems to me that pretty much is going to make clear that Batwoman ain't going to last very long. John Joseph Gray IV, thank you very much for the super chat, says, hey Odin, hope you're having a great Memorial Day today. I just have one question, and that is, which do you think is better, 90s Nick or today's shows? 90s Nick, easily. Oh, 90s Nickelodeon shows are so much better. Now, there are some great shows that happen today, but 90s shows on Nickelodeon, almost universally, were good. You know, nowadays, there's a lot of crappy shows. There's also some good shows, but the quantity, I guess it's a question of quantity over quality. Do I think there are shows that are better today than in the 90s? Yes. But if we're going to go just by volume alone of how many good versus how many bad shows, 90s Nickelodeon. Easily. D-Live people are just blowing things up, so I'm going to go ahead and head over to my D-Live people to say hello, 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 D-Live people. Poppy10 Fo Nemo is here as well. Kim Cam Park, Dion, Brad Beer Hunter, Mr. Peabody, of course. Defenders Live, thank you very much for the lemon. I appreciate that. Peabody, thank you for the lemon. Defenders, thank you for the other lemon. Kim Cam Park, thank you for the lemon as well. Bot, thank you for the lemon. Brad Beer Hunter, thank you for the lemon. Dion, thank you for the ice cream and the 2 lemons. I really do appreciate. Defenders Live says, that is what I like to see. I like to see that too, man. Thank you so much for that support. Poppy10, thank you for the ice cream. Peabody, thank you for the ice cream. Brad Beer Hunter, thank you for the lemon. Whoo, man, you have just gone crazy donating things. Brad Beer Hunter with the lemon, and Defenders Live, thank you so very much for the follow. I appreciate that very, very much so. Firewolf21, thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Remember, guys, if you have a question for me, if you want to get in contact with me over on DLive, just put @Odin at the very beginning of your chat, and when I go back over to my DLive people, I will talk to you guys. Firewolf is dancing in the chat. Fat Elvis, thank you for the ice cream. Firewolf, thank you for the lemon. Brad Beer Hunter, thank you for the lemon. And Dion, thank you for the lemon. Whew, lots of lemons and ice cream going on over on DLive. DLive is sick. DLive is awesome right now. Thank you guys so very much. Let's see. Dwayne Morris, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, saw John Wick today. Great film, lots of action, but a little over the top. Nice to see Halle Berry. Dwayne, I think that's a good assessment. I mean, I think that John Wick was great. I think it had the best action sequences of all the John Wick films thus far. The best story still goes to John Wick 1. Or rather, sorry, the most cohesive story goes to John Wick 1. The best story elements, like as far as plot goes to John Wick 2. Best action scenes, John Wick 3. No question about it. And Halle Berry was awesome. And knowing that she did most of her own stunts and seeing the training that she did for it, freaking fantastic. Great stuff. Alex McCarthy over on YouTube says, yeah, Batwoman makes Supergirl look sleep. Sleep is opposite of woke, isn't it? I'm old. I don't know the newfangled words. Yes. If the opposite of woke is sleep, then yes. Supergirl looks sleep in comparison. Super Anime Gamer says, I seriously doubt Batwoman will be canceled anytime soon. I mean, Supergirl has been on TV for years and it's hot garbage. It is hot garbage, but I don't think anyone can say that the trailer... That a single episode of Supergirl has been as woke as that entire trailer was for Batwoman. I mean, again, I stopped watching Supergirl, so I could be wrong on that. But of all the Supergirl episodes I did watch, which was, the first 2 seasons or so, beginning of season 3, it did not go nearly as woke as that trailer for Batwoman was. So I could be wrong on that. Stevie J Movie Review says, gotta go to work. Thanks, Odin. Catch you next time. Well, thank you, Stevie J. Have a good day or night at work. Tina B says, thank you very much for letting them know how to contact me. Zinewater says, by the time you read this, I will be an Asgardian citizen. Congratulations, Zine, if that is indeed the case. Thank you, Steph, for letting the people know how to contact me on the YouTubes. CWD Trixie says, something on a good note, have heard some good comments and views for Godzilla. We need more giant monsters destroying everything again. Yes. I've also heard the early reviews for Godzilla King of the Monsters are fantastic. I will let you guys know my thoughts very quickly because I am seeing it 4 p.m. on Thursday in IMAX. And just like with my previous outings, I'm going to be vlogging my way there, my pre-movie thoughts to see how busy or crowded the theater might be because that is right now the only showtime that I saw for Godzilla coming out, which I think is interesting. I'm assuming that tomorrow, because remember, guys, that most showtimes get posted for the weekend, Thursday, Friday, on Tuesday afternoon. So I'm hoping to see some more showtimes for it. But I will say this much. I'm very excited to still be seeing it in IMAX. I wanted to see those monsters on the big screen. I got myself like a nice center seat as well. So I'm very, very excited for that film. And I cannot wait to let you guys know if it's good or if it's bad. Hope it is good. Orange Hat Review says, my theater got Godzilla for Thursday. So excited. Hail. Awesome, Orange Hat. Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see it. It looks so good. Definitely one of my most anticipated films of this year. Right behind John Wick 3. John Wick 3 did not disappoint. I'm hoping that this film does not. Right now, out of the 3 most anticipated films that I had for this year, of which in that top 3, and some, I mean, top 5, I would say. These 3 would be in the top 5. Godzilla, John Wick 3, Endgame. Only one of them has disappointed me, and that, of course, was Endgame. But the other one, John Wick 3, was great. Definitely met my expectations. I'm hoping and praying that Godzilla does as well. Super says, part 1, of course I can't speak for all women, and being a massive tomboy probably leaves me in the minority. But the female characters I love most are the ones that don't emphasize gender. No, seriously, the greatest characters in general are the ones that don't emphasize gender. A good character is a good character. A good character is not someone who says, I am a man and I'm going to be the best man possible. No. It's, I'm a character and I'm going to be the best character possible, no matter what my gender, orientation, whatever might be. Those things should always be secondary to a more primary motivating factor, unless you're doing something like a documentary, or you're doing a film on a specific subject matter. If you're doing it on women's rights, or if you're doing it on a historical piece of, women's suffrage, well then of course those things are going to have to come up. But if it's a general movie, a superhero, a comic book movie, where those things are taking place or supposed to take place in the modern day, then those things have no place in that discussion because it ends up being a film that's trying to push an agenda more so than a film trying to tell a good and compelling story. It's sad. It really is. And then Superset Part 2 says, feminists don't really get it. Femininity can be part of a character, but shouldn't be all. Characters need to be human. I love Brienne of Tarth and Wonder Woman. Feminists would never produce them. You're exactly right. Because they would say, oh no, we can't have them be masculine because that's not what it... No, again, this whole masculinity, femininity, those are fluid terms. What it means to be masculine, to be feminine, that is easily dependent on society. Because there are certain things that happen in Europe that Americans will look at and say, oh, that's not really my concept of what it means to be masculine. So masculinity, femininity, okay, sure, those things can be fluid terms. Gender, not so much. Because gender, sex, same thing, wasn't separated until the 1970s when some, we can go into a whole thing about that. But as far as like what it means to be masculine or feminine, these are things that all people can like easily flow between. Because some people are more feminine than others. Some men are feminine. Some women are masculine. And there's something wrong with those things. The problem with these characters is the fact that they're trying to say that, oh no, these women, they need to be talked about as women and they need to be, downtrodden so that way they can lift themselves up by themselves and realize that they don't need no man to help them. It's like, how about instead they're just a good character and it doesn't matter. If a man helps them, okay. So what? So what? Just like if a man gets a woman's help, so what? Why should that matter? As long as the character arcs are good, that crap should not matter. Soul Assassin says, 90s Nick was the perfect babysitter for my siblings and me as a kid. I agree. Lou says, have you sussed the boys yet? I was reading the comic and seeing Gary from Nerdrotic, and it is awesome. So funny. No, I have not. Isn't that the show that... Okay, yeah, that's the show, right? That Gary was talking about? Rosetta Allen says, Hakola, how you doing? What's going on, Alan? Alan, what's going on? Rosetta says, Supergirl went badly woke. They even had the all-powerful aliens disarming the citizens to go fight other all-powerful aliens because guns are bad. Oh, yeah. Because I got as far as them trying to make a slavery comparison with the Martian Manhunter. At that point, I was like, really? They're not... Lord. Anyway, Suicide Grunt says, 334,000 downvotes for Batwoman. Oh, man, 334,000 downvotes for the Batwoman trailer. That is awful. That is downright awful. And I'm hoping that those same people don't watch the show. Let that show die a quick and painful death. Alex McCarthy says, Supergirl never stole Superman's stuff and always wanted his help. Definitely less woke than Batman. Yep, Batman. Soul says, have you heard that the SJWs are going after Ruby Rose again for not being Jewish enough to play the character? I saw that Jesse Milestone made a video on that, and it is not surprising because they will go after anything and everything because they suck. All right, D-Live people, don't worry, I did not forget about you. Peabody says, we all like lemonade and ice cream. I know, lemonade and ice cream sounds delicious. Defenders Live says, Batwoman will be the wokest of all the DC universe, and that is difficult. That is extremely difficult, and yes, you are totally right. There's no doubt in my mind that that is exactly what is going to happen. Defenders Live also says, Gaston was the most manly and the worst as well. Exactly. Masculinity does not mean good or bad. You can be masculine and bad, but you can also be masculine and good. You can be feminine and good, but you can also be feminine and bad. Those are not good or evil traits, and we should never make that. It should never be evil to be a man. And yet that is what this identity politics-driven narrative is pushing, is that being a man, being masculine, toxic masculinity is how it's being masked, is evil, is wrong. It needs to be rooted out. When in reality, all that it is pure masculinity itself, or just the concept of masculinity itself. And that is something that should not. Because those in and of themselves, to be masculine or feminine by themselves is not wrong or evil. They are traits that all of us are going to fall somewhere in between. And it really, at the end of the day, does not matter. Kim Park talking to someone else. Defenders Live says, Brie Larson, think on her name, Stinky Cheese set on fire. Brie Larson. That's a good point. Larceny Brie, setting the cheese on fire. Dion says, thanks for stopping by my stream earlier today. No problem at all, Dion. Guys, go check out if you're on D-Live. Dion, if you want to watch him and talk to him as he flies, because dude is a great person to talk to, seriously. And give him some love. Show him some love, man. And then Dion says, cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you, good sir. I appreciate that. Defenders Live says, Larson is theft at Odin. Got those mixed up. Okay, gotcha. Well, Larson is cheesy theft. Cheesy theft. A criminal cheese offender. That is what Brie Larson is. She is a criminal cheese offender. Get that trending. Brie Larson, criminal cheese offender. And we don't need criminal cheese offenders in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All right, back to YouTube. Pete1972 says, all this talk about lemon and ice cream. Tasty. Yes, lemon ice cream, please. Alexander says, Supergirl had some Mexican character saying, they're building a wall to keep us out. The only thing they hate more than a Mexican is a homosexual. Wait, what? That is an actual line from Supergirl? You know what, though? I still stand by. I still think the Batwoman trailer is more woke than that. That is still pretty bad, though. And I'm glad I stopped watching that show. Good Lord. God. And I thought it was bad when they were focusing on a wedding for 3 straight episodes. They focused Supergirl, a superhero series, focused on a wedding. Why? Because the wedding happened to be between 2 women, and it had to have the focus. No, it's called Supergirl. That could be a side plot. That could be a side story. But the fact that you made it the sole focus of the main, first 3 episodes, and then you dropped it because the actress decided to leave the show, it's like, oh, Lord. So I'm glad to see that it continued to get worse from there. Zion Waters says, did you see that people were complaining that Godzilla focused too much on the monsters fighting and not enough on the human drama? Zion Waters, I think that's hilarious. Because if you can remember, when Godzilla 2014 came out, what was the number 1 complaint? There was not enough Godzilla. I would not be surprised if the same people complaining in 2014 are the same ones complaining now. Now, I will say this much. There could very well be a criticism from me about Godzilla. Because my biggest fear, and I've made it clear from the beginning, is that they've shown too much of the monsters in the trailers, and that's going to make their impact on screen less palpable. Now, could be wrong on that. It could be great. It could be amazing. So we'll see. However, being the movie called King of the Monsters and seeing the trailers as they are, the trailers are making it very clear that this is about Godzilla and the monsters. So anyone seeing this film not expecting to see a bunch of monsters kicking each other's ass, they must not have seen the trailer, or they must not have been paying attention. Because seriously, how can you not expect to see what is clearly being laid out in front of you? Rosetta Allen says, as a girl who grew up hunting, exploring, hiking, biker chick, and ex-carpenter, I am absolutely with her. I never understood tearing men down to empower strong females. Exactly right. Because guess what? All of those things, Rosetta, don't make you any less of a woman. If I grew up sewing or doing all these things that are known as feminine traits, doesn't make me any less than a man. But if we're going to label them as masculine and feminine, guess what? Okay. Different societies are going to call them different things. But being more masculine or being more feminine does not just magically change how you were born. That to me, I think, is the biggest problem with all of this stuff, because this is a problem that we have. And as someone who teaches it at schools in the South, we have a problem. But it's a problem on both sides. Because on one extreme, you have people that are trying to just twist everything and say, oh, no, men can be women and women can be men. No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't change your chromosomes. That's not how it works. But on the flip side, there are indeed asshats, and I've taught some of them who will call someone a very derogatory term because they are, in their own words, too feminine. There's no such thing as too feminine or too masculine. Those are traits. Masculinity, femininity, those are traits. Those are completely morally neutral things. To be feminine is not wrong. To be masculine is not wrong. You can be a male and feminine, and you can be a female and masculine. Again, we would consider hunting, aggressiveness to be masculine traits. But that does not mean that only men can do those things. It just means that, on average, more often than not, more men are going to have those traits than not. And we know this because of biology. Because of testosterone, because of chemicals. These are chemical reactions, and so we're able to study these things. But yet, somehow, some way, modern-day Hollywood has taken simple biology and thrown it all on its head. Sorry, so sorry, I hit the microphone on that. But it's amazing that the same people that are going to try and say, you deny science, are the same ones who deny science. Clearly, it's ridiculous. And so sorry if I'm talking a little bit too much about chemicals and stuff, but I really do honestly think that it is very pertinent to this discussion that we're having, specifically about Batwoman, because I honestly think that it is indeed a major problem that we need to address, and we need to address it very clearly. Rosetta also says, women who say, I don't need a man, offend me as much as men mad if a woman gets more money. They both need to get a life. Yes, thank you. Again, because there's bad things that happen on both sides. Exactly right. What we need to realize is that, guess what? Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter where you're from. We all need each other. We all rely on each other. And most of us are going to rely on people of a different gender. Oh my God, can you believe it? Guess what? Most men are going to rely on women. Most women are going to rely on men. Now, most does not mean the rule, right? Because guess what? Guess what? Women can rely on women and men can rely on men. Oh my God, isn't it such a foreign concept? I know, right? But somehow, some way, to try and say, for a woman to say, I need a man in my life to help me, and for us to try and have a society, people who are going to put those people down because, no, you can't say that. Yes, you can. You can say the opposite of that too. It's called personality traits. We all have different ones. We're all different. Well, based on the documentaries and the footage and the testimonies, I can't. He is still a great musician. Separate art from the artist. Based on the words of the great musician, Michael Jackson, it doesn't matter if you're black or white. Love that music video. It's so great. Senate says, sorry, I'm late. I'm just jamming out to Bohemian Rhapsody. Hey, Senate, that sounds like a great reason to be late. To be late. Rosetta Allen says, there's a great video with a huge collection of the most woke elements in Supergirl, seasons 2 through 4, and it is bad. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to watch it. Blake Hemlo says, what show is more woke, Batwoman or Supergirl? Well, Batwoman has not come out yet, but I was saying, my point, Blake, was that based on what I have seen from Supergirl and what I saw in that trailer for Batwoman, Batwoman seems to be more woke, or like it's going to be more woke. Now, of course, haven't seen it yet, so I can't say that for sure. All right, heading back over to my D-Live people. Dion says, thank you for stopping by. Okay, got that one. Then Kim Cam Park says, later. Kim Cam Park, later to you. Good later to you. Cheese, criminal cheese thief, Defenders Live, criminal cheese thief. Poppy Dead says, Godzilla critics saying not enough human drama makes me think it's going to be awesome. Yeah, seriously. If a critic's saying there were too many monsters on screen and I wanted to know more about the characters on screen, okay, well then that sounds like it's going to be awesome. As long as the monsters look great, the CGI is well done, and it's not a total CGI fest, but it's just well crafted, well choreographed stuff, hey, I'm down. I am so on board for that. Let us see. Defenders Live says the trailers are going to be 90 of their screen time for the monsters. Yeah, I hope. It's just like Defenders Live. It's just like for 2014 Godzilla, when it looked like we were going to get a lot of Godzilla, and then when we got the movie, everyone's expectations were subverted, and we got very little Godzilla, which I actually didn't mind as much, because one of my favorite parts of 2014 Godzilla was when they were about to have Godzilla fight, and then they cut away right before the battle, and then they show it on a television screen. I laughed because everyone in the audience had a reaction of either thinking it was so funny because they didn't expect it, or anger because they were saying, oh, we were about to get Godzilla fighting and we didn't get it. I laughed. Again, there's certain things that some might find funny. That is something I personally thought was hilarious, and I had a lot of fun with Godzilla 2014. I thought it was good, but it seems to me that you're going to have King of the Monsters. That's going to be good for the opposite reason, because it's going to have a lot of Godzilla, which, again, as long as they do it well, I will be okay with that. Mr. Bevi says, I was taught to sew and knit, but I can also rebuild your engine. Very similar things, really. Boom. Exactly right. And again, those are all useful life skills, and they don't make you any more or less of a person. Bevi says, identify as non-human. No, you identify as Australian, and Australians identify as not quite human. Upside down human beings. All right, so that's it for my people over on D-Live for now. Got a couple of super chats. So Logan Michael, Anti Funko Pops, thank you for the super chat, says CW is kind of, if you mean that the characters are okay, but if you're trying to say that the CW is stupid or not good, say stupid or not good. All right, let's try and make sure we're using the words the way that they're meant to be. We're smart people here in Asgard. We use smart words. I tell this to my students all the time, the ones that like to say retardando, which of course is, a musical term, but you know the word that I'm talking about. And I'm like, seriously, dude? You're going to say that word? There is a rich vocabulary of words that you can use. I like troglodyte personally. So, yeah, Logan Michael, think about it. Lila Lightning, thank you very much for the Aussie $2. Says, first word I hear is fest on the possibilities. The fest. Festivus. Rosetta Allen says toxic femininity is when a woman cannot be strong as a woman without tearing down men and traditional women. There are a bigger plague on this society right now. Yes, and here's a fun fact, guys. There is toxic masculinity and femininity. However, I don't like those terms because they're so overused. Mostly toxic masculinity is overused. So I don't like those terms. I just like to think of it as there are people who are men and women who are both asshats. And I just leave it at that. Mikey Wood says, Gary's likeness is featured in The Boys comics. It's pretty cool. That's how he got to the premiere of the show. The Boys creator used to frequent his shop. He's a shill. Yeah, I remember him talking about that, but I know the show was supposed to be coming out, so I didn't know if you meant the show had a character that was based off of his likeness, because that would be cool if the show, like the actual live-action show, had that. Rosetta Allen says, yes, that is a real line, and it is even worse than that. I'll send you the video. Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy, lordy. Alexander says, why do you think so many SJWs are built like they came out of a caricature? Because they're all being taught the same thing at the same schools. That's what it comes down to. Higher education has become a hive of intellectual stupidity. And yes, intellectual stupidity is the thing. Alex McCarthy says, I will say this though, Supergirl is still pretty woke, but it's semi-toned down at it's semi-toned it down after a slightly tiny bit this season. Lex Luthor was better than DCEU Lex. Okay, all right, gotcha. So look, oh my gosh, so you're saying that a man made the show better? Tell that to someone who's a fan and see what they say. See what they say. Yeah, a man made it better. Alrighty, what we got? La da 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 da. Rosetta Allen says, my brothers are good at sewing and write poetry, so yeah, our gender is not our taste and interest, and men can be masculine without having stereotypical male interests. Exactly right. Again, masculinity, femininity, those are traits that many of us have multiple aspects of. There are things that are about me that many would consider in the West feminine. Some in, Europe probably wouldn't, but here in the United States they would. There are certain things about me that people would say are masculine, like having a beard. They would say that's a masculine trait. But again, those depend on society. Those can indeed be different. That can be, as the term goes, relative terms. Being a man or woman, not so much. Those are pretty, by the numbers terms. But masculinity and femininity, those can definitely be fluid. If we're talking about fluidity, masculinity and femininity are definitely the place where that happens. Rosetta Allen says, yes, tomboy girls are put down by other girls and men by being told we must be gay, and yet Hollywood has turned that stereotype into a fact. I thought that was bigoted and tomboys. Yeah, exactly right, Rosetta Allen. Like, seriously, why is it that now masculine women or feminine men have to be that? And actually, in college, there was a friend of mine who was a dancer, and he was so pissed and heartbroken because so many people, including the girls that he danced with, thought he was gay, and he was totally straight. And he said it was so hard for him to date because he would be genuinely attracted to and interested in some of the partners that he would dance with, but they never saw him in that way because they just thought and assumed that he wasn't. And I think that is something, that is a mindset we need to get away from. And these shows, like Batwoman, for example, like Captain Marvel, are really trying to perpetuate this myth and this lie that is just making things in society so much worse. Let's see, Dave Bob, thank you very much for the donation, the Streamlabs donation. Guys, if you ever want to just surpass YouTube, because YouTube sucks, and they take, a huge chunk of any super chats that are ever donated, you can click on the Streamlabs link that's in the description for this video, and I will still shout you out. Your message will still pop up on the screen, and you will also get some extra cookies, which is my digital currency that I have here. So Dave Bob, thank you very much for that donation, says, well, this is so bad. First the Batwoman, then Terminator. I have a feeling it is going to get worse. Well, yeah, things tend to get worse before they get better. If this is the peak, well, then hopefully we start to have the the ride back up the hill very quickly. But if it's not, if this is just the beginning of the peak, oh Lord, we're in for a very long ride. Thank you very much for that super chat. For that donation, by the way. And Lila Leinen, thank you for another super chat where he says, remember the English language is made to woo women. Donovan Martin says, just watching Captain America the Winter Soldier for Memorial Day. God bless America and prayers for our troops. Absolutely, prayers for our troops. Anyone out there that's watching that is a serviceman or woman, thank you for your service. And if you are a family member of someone who has served, thank them for their service. And if you are one of those who has lost someone who was a person of service, thank you for your service, because you are just as much part of it with the loss that you had to deal with than just as much as the people that lost their lives. So seriously, thank you to all the men and women that serve this country, who serve in any military, I would say, and especially for the families of those who have lost loved ones as well, or for those too who have active military members that are away from their families right now. So prayers absolutely going their way. Random Nerd Doom says, Simpool is starting to talk about aliens. When aliens arrive here, would we humans stop hating on each other for our differences and hate on the aliens instead? I don't go down that is Exozone stuff. I don't do Exozone stuff. You can go to Gary Nerdrotic or Doomcock's channel for that. Rosetta Allen says, whatever you think of me, I needed my man to help me through my medical. And as a woman, not ashamed to say it, he's an amazing man because he was a strong heart and good soul. Again, we all need each other, for everything. Man, woman, black or white, doesn't matter. We all need, part of humanity is to be social. And so we always need a social outlet. I know there are people who have watched, who have been a part of this channel for a while, who struggle. Just like, I struggle with social anxiety. There's some who have it even worse than I do, to the point where it's, an actual condition, much worse than what I have, where it's hard to even leave the house. And yet even just chats, even just these live streams are a way for them to interact with people in a way that they normally don't have that ability to do so. So we all need each other. We all need social interaction in some capacity. And so all that this does, like all of this identity politics does, is that it isolates you. Because if you only identify yourself, sorry for hitting the microphone. If you only identify yourself by a gender, by an orientation, by a skin color, then you isolate yourself from others. And we live in a world now where we don't need any more isolation. Social media is a great tool, but it's also isolating. That's why I try the best that I can to keep distant from that stuff as much as possible. Obviously, I fail. We all fail. We're all human. But man, we need to stop separating each other and putting ourselves into these categories, and instead just say, you're human. I'm human. Let's try and work together to make humanity the best it possibly can be. So Rosetta, and also thank you to people like Rosetta for sharing their stories, for sharing the things that mean so much to them. Donovan Martin says, Odin, on your left. Yes, indeed. In fact, it'll be my right technically, but because of the way the mirror works, it would be. And yeah, she's asleep on the chair. You can't see her anymore, but yeah, she's asleep. Rosetta Allen says, it's a Godzilla movie. The point of the humans are to be victims for the monsters. Duh. I agree. Seriously. If you're complaining because the monsters are too much, it's like, why are you watching a movie that's called King of the Monsters? Lordy. Alexander says, does nobody mention that Godzilla in 2014 was the good guy? Yeah, seriously. And that's, again, I like 2014 Godzilla. It's Your Rap Production says, at least Gareth Edwards didn't make a huge deal of subverting expectations. People just analyze his film, making style, and realize that that's what he does. Exactly. He didn't mock people. Anyone that said we wanted more monsters, he didn't mock them. He said, I bet you did. But guess what? Now I've created this desire within you, and guess what? That means you're going to see the next movie. So he actually did his part by saying, I'm going to give you a good story, a good movie that's going to make you pine for and want more. That's what a good starting movie in a franchise should do. And so overall, I really do like that movie. Random Nerd Doom says, can they do a Godzilla movie from the point of view of Godzilla with humans as side characters? As long as they're not putting voices in their head, I couldn't take that. That would be too comedy for me, and I just couldn't take that. Rosetta Allen says the CW network is communist Wayman, the absidarian pontificating vacuous trolls of TV. Holy crap, that is a mouthful right there, Rosetta Allen. But I think you're onto something. I love the use of language. That is fan-freaking-tastic. All right, back over to my D-Live peeps. Love my D-Live peeps. Alrighty. Let's see. So Peabody says, hard to identify as anything, upside down all the time, blood rushes to your head. Yes, indeed. Peabody is upside down all the time, including his name in our Discord chat as well. Peabody is pointing out saying, he is thinking when he hums, he thinks. Yeah, whenever I'm humming, I'm thinking of something. And normally it's Jingle Bells for some reason. Peabody says, happy Memorial Day in Australia. Apparently today is National Burger Day. Well, have a burger, Peabody. Yes. Enjoy that burger, because it's daytime over in Australia right now. Enjoy a burger, man. That sounds delicious. Peabody says, your microphone is trending. Me too? What? My microphone is trending. Me too. What? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Bot. Oh my God, bot. Really? Really, bot? You're going to put that image in there? Peabody says, fix name on Discord. Thank you for that. I didn't fix it. Or you're talking about now it being upside down, now it's right side up, and so now it works for you. You're welcome then. You hit the mic. Oh, sorry. Yes, right. So sorry, Peabody. So sorry. Hashtag me too. That's right. Yeah. I hit the microphone. That's going to be trending on Twitter. Odin hits and abuses his microphone. Asked to step down from Odin's movie blog. We got a couple super chats though. Rookie Critic gave both of them. Thank you very much, Rookie Critic. Appreciate it. Says, monsters in a kaiju movie? Psh, no thanks. I know, right, Rookie Critic? He also says, what if they have the monster speak English? Yes. Let's have the monster. No. Let's have the monster speak Japanese, but instead have a dub, and so then the words really don't match the mouth. That'll subvert expectations for you. That's what everyone wants, right? Let's see, Mad Mitch. The best thing from that Godzilla movie is the meme, let them fight, which is used when lefties turn on each other. Again, 2014 Godzilla was a good movie. Like, just as a movie, it was good. Suicide Grunts of America says, the soundtrack for Godzilla is absolutely amazing. They brought back the original Godzilla theme and also the sound, too. Like, hearing Godzilla's yell and scream again was fantastic. It was so good. So very good. Super Anime Gamer says, sadly, higher education has become a place to be made miserable, lie to, and isolate yourselves from the outside world. Yes, that is true. A safe space is not safe at all. A safe space is a prison for your mind. That's what it is. A safe space is a prison for your mind, for your heart, and for your soul, because you shut yourself off from any outside dialogue, any outside opinions, any outside thoughts. And then when you go into the real world, guess what? You don't have a safe space. And what do? When someone presents you with facts that you can't refute, run to your safe space, run to your college professor. No, you can't do that anymore because they've already taken your money and they're going to abandon you. That's what's going to happen. Ah, man, it's ridiculous. Yeah, modern day higher education is a joke. John Early says, I don't know what the heck they were thinking with that scene in Ant-Man at the end with Hope and Scott making out seemingly out of nowhere. Wait, what? What? I didn't mind that at all. They like each other. Rosetta Allen says, if they need help, check their DNA and what is in their pants. There is your gender. I'm so tired of society labeling and dividing us. Go back to free thinking, not leftist thinking. Yep, free thinking is the best type of thinking. Alexander says, Supergirl TV show has Superman insists that he was at full strength and defeated by Supergirl, even though she gets stomped into the ground by 3/4 of enemies she fights. And again, I haven't been watching it, so again, I'm not saying it's not woke. I'm just saying that based on what I have seen from both Supergirl and the Batwoman trailer, I'm saying the Batwoman trailer is more woke. Notice how I say from what I have seen. All right? So you can get off the point. Rosetta Allen says, today is a stunning marker of what matters in reality. First thing I saw this morning was a tribute from my brother about the 43 people from his troops he served with who didn't come home. That is amazing. And I will say a beautiful image from my own family life was my brother-in-law. He is a public servant, and he brought his my niece to a veterans cemetery and let her choose a grave to put a flag in, and taught her, you know, obviously she probably doesn't understand everything, but taught her about honor, taught her about service and everything. So again, today is a beautiful day to teach. It's also a beautiful way to remember. But also, we should never forget that it's a beautiful way to try to reach out to those people that probably need it the most. Many people honestly don't remember not only the troops that we lose on a daily basis, but their families too. And I think that it's far past time for us to have that be our focus again. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Rookie Critic, thank you very much for the super chat, says, my theaters that closed, I think AMC bought them. You're right, Rookie Critic, I saw that. I got a news update on that, and you are correct. AMC has bought those theaters, and they're going to try and open them within the next year, all right? So the theaters that close near you, they will be reopened as AMC, and I think that's a good thing for you, because if you are indeed going to no longer be a rookie, and you need to see a lot of movies, that means you can get the AMC A-List service and then go see a crap ton of movies. So I would say look into it, because I'm pretty sure those are all becoming AMC theaters. Blake Hamlow says, since it's Memorial Day, we should tell stories of family members and friends who have served in the military. You can go ahead and do that in the chat. Absolutely. You can definitely do that in the chat. But we're not going to focus that too much on this specific stream because this is not a specific Memorial Day stream. But you can absolutely, again, you in the chat can do that and please share your stories. Absolutely. This is a chat for you to be able to do that. La da 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 da. La da da da, la da 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 da. Alrighty, let's see. Random Nerd Doom says, we sent all the... Alright, not... Rosetta Allen says, side note, I gave up and reactivated my old Twitter. I just can't trust YouTube for anything from you guys to come through. So it shows me what is going on. I added you there, buddy. Well, thank you, Rosetta Allen. I appreciate it. Yeah, seriously. YouTube is terrible with notifications. So if you have a Twitter, follow me on Twitter. It always posts whenever I'm live on Twitter. Also, Discord is another great place to be, too. And I am trying to start to upload all my videos, at least my daily videos, to things like BitChute. I post on Minds, so I do have an account on Minds.com. On Gab, I also have an account as well. So if you are active on any of those places, look me up, follow me. Again, you'll get notified, as far as like the videos that I post. Live streams, mostly it's just going to be on the Discord and on Twitter. There is someone that reached out to me who is also in the process of creating a new service that is going to focus on trying to make sure notifications for YouTube videos go out to people. And he's going to let me be one of the first test subjects. So as soon as that goes live, I'll let you guys know. And hopefully it'll be a thing that can actually work. So that way people can actually get notified about these things. All right, heading back over to my D-Live people. D-Live people, D-Live people. They like coming, they want to go home. Me say yo. They like coming, they want to go home. All right, no one has contacted me. Peabody is telling them how to contact me on the... But I see a comment. Since there's not a lot of comments, Filmy Professor says, "Hey Odin, what did you think of the Terminator trailer? I find it seriously underwhelming. I didn't mind it as much. Again, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. You know, I think it looked better than the previous installment of Terminator that we got. But obviously, still a long way to go." Brad B. Hunter says, "Only at Odin about country music and bubble baths." No, let's not do that, please. No. Skeletor165, thank you very much for the follow. Peabody says, "I've been loading the banana boat all night long." You have been. Absolutely. Super says, "The only thing I fear about the new Godzilla is that they could be overcompensating for the 2014's lack of monsters. Fear the movie could end up a little overambitious or badly paced." That's Super. That's exactly what my concern has been. As I said, the one concern I have is that. Random Nerd says, "You say sorry like a Canadian." Well, as I always say, sorry, so very sorry indeed. And this is where I got it from. For those that are interested, it actually came from a TV show. That's where it came from. And it came from this show right here.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
So that is a show called Stella. It is a wonderful show. It is hilarious. It only ever lasted one season, but that is where I personally got it from. Obviously, people can find other places, but that's where I got it from, and I was the one that introduced it over into Anna's stream over during Star Wars Celebration. And she's already, the shirts are being in the process of being made too, and I cannot wait to see what that. Super says, also, what do you think of Matthew Broderick's Godzilla? Crap. Hilariously bad crap, I would say. Alexander says, "Did you see the CBS Antifa endorsement? It was the Good Wife sequel, The Good Fight. A chimpanzee-looking character talks to the camera, and they show real footage of an assault." I have not, but I did hear that in The Good Fight, it says that you can punch somebody that you disagree with, which I think is a terrible message. Rosetta Allen says, "As someone with issues with anxiety and PTSD, I still don't want safe spaces. I deal with my issues. If I trigger, I do what is needed to handle it. Those kids don't know what triggers are." Absolutely. The fact that there are people that because of an election were claiming PTSD and were claiming certain issues is so depressing, because it takes away and really, I think, belittles people who are actually struggling with real issues. If you are going to, and really it's the fault of universities who taught everyone, oh my God, if this happens, it's going to be the end of the world. It's going to be the end of everything. And you see this happen on all sides of the political aisle. It's so funny. Everyone's like, oh my God, in 2008, the world's going to end. And then you looked out the window and you're like, wait, the world's still spinning. In 2016, oh my God, the world's going to end. Oh wait, the world's still spinning and some things are going pretty well. Again, we can criticize some things too. But hey, let's just step back for a second and take a breath and realize that things are not always as bad as they seem. Alexander says, while mock yellow vest rioters smash car windows, Chimp Man says, it's time to punch a few Nazis. Yes, that was what I'd heard about. Rhaegar Targaryen says, we find out in Godzilla that Charles Dance is the real king of the monsters. He is also always pays his debts. Yes, that's right. I forgot he was in that. They got a really good cast for that movie. I'm very excited. Again, 4 p.m. IMAX showing. I get to see that on Thursday. Solsaz says, do you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? Great movie. Soul Assassin, great movie. A Royale with cheese. A Royale with cheese. Random Nerd, SJWs are more... I'm not doing those comments, man. Phantom Menace, I watched the show Chernobyl. It's a good show. Sad but good. It's about the Chernobyl nuclear accident. Yes, I've heard that it's good. Someone said that I should start watching it. So it is definitely on my possible watch list. Definitely on my possible watch list. Let us see. Where did I leave off? Fandom says, you should watch Blue Bloods. It's about a police family of New York City. Never got into it. It was actually, they were filming, when I lived in New York, they were filming it. Never got into it. Not my type of show. I'm not saying it's a bad show, just not my type of show. Random Nerd says, whenever you say Rosetta Allen, your accents keep sounding like Apu from The Simpsons. No. It comes from a video. Just look up, what are those little creatures called? Gophers? I think it's a gopher. Just look up gophers saying, Allen! That's great. It's great. That's where I get it from. 70B says, hi. Oh, hi, Steph. Tina and Steph, guys. Huge shout out to Tina and Steph. They're awesome. They're lovely people. They're my Valks, and they are rocking it tonight. Valks, don't worry. I know that it's definitely getting to be late, so we'll go on for another 7 minutes or so. Hour and 15 is going to be the time when I'm going to start to wrap things down. So another 8 minutes or so. Mikey Wood says, I love how in trying to hide offensive history that must be learnt to prevent repetition, they cause a history that needs to be taught to prevent for the future dum-dums. Yep, Mikey Woods, it is totally a mindset that works against itself. It destroys the future, and it doesn't even fix the issues that they think it's going to fix. Rosetta Allen says, technically, he's my sister's ex, but we kept him, not her. He has been a brother since we were kids, and he has an awesome Bradley commander. Much love to him. So glad he came home. Well, prayers to you and your family, and prayers to him as well. And again, blood is not the only way in which we define our family. That is, again, something that I've always felt very strongly about, and I think it is absolutely true. Family is where your heart is, essentially. And I think that your heart can be in those close relationships, those tight-knit relationships of those that you might be biologically connected to, but also too with your close friends and family. And also, family is not just defined by who you are related to. Rookie Critic, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, says, I don't have many options for theaters in the meantime. Cinetopia was an awesome theater chain, but AMC might be fine. Just started watching Game of Thrones. Dude, don't watch it, man. The payoff is not worth it. Don't even waste your time at this point. But yeah, I'm so sorry to hear. So sorry indeed that Cinetopia closed down for you. But yeah, AMC, as someone that worked for AMC, they offer some good stuff. And again, because you'll be close to them and you'll have options, I think that the AMC A-list would be good for you. Because with the AMC A-list, you can see 3 movies a week. Every week, it always resets midnight on Thursday, so technically Friday morning. So you can see 3 movies every single week. It's covered in the cost of the monthly subscription. You can get upgrades on popcorn, soft drinks. You can get money for every money that's spent. Every time that you're charged the $21 a month, that actually goes towards as if being charged to your card. So after some time, you build up rewards, and yeah. If you like to see a lot of movies, it's well worth it, because that means you can see movies in IMAX, in Dolby, and 3D, and it's covered. That's not just 3 2D movies a week. It's 3 any type of movie you want, as long as it's at an AMC theater and it's not a Fathom event. It's not one of those special events. Peter Hand says, will Rotten Tomatoes move to forced purchase to leave reviews hurt them in the long run? I think so. I think it absolutely will hurt them. Random Nerd says, my uncle was in the Vietnam Army and died when he stepped on a landmine because he didn't want to poop in a dirty area of grass. That's really sad. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's not funny. That's just really sad. That's someone's life. Super says, my favorite type of YouTube notification is not being told when my favorite channels go live, but after the stream is over and it has been uploaded as a video. Yeah, that's why I try and have it be uploaded as fast as I can to the secondary channel, but also I'm trying to add them to a playlist, because I think if they're unlisted, they still show up in a playlist. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's also why I upload these as podcasts. So again, it's officially on Redbubble. not Redbubble. It's a Red Circle. Red Circle is the name of the podcast hosting site. But if you just go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any of your major podcast apps, look up Welcome to Asgard. And you'll have access to every single live stream that I've done. And I think I'm up to like 38, 39 ever since I started to transfer them over. So you'll have plenty of access. D-Live people are going crazy, so let me go ahead and watch, go ahead and check them out as they are going crazy. Let's see. Mr. Peabody says, you didn't put the pieces together. I've been loading the banana boat all night long. Daylight come and I want to, daylight come and they won't go home. Me said that, yo. Bobby Den says, if you want Odin to respond, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting him know. Peabody says, 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and they won't go home. Well, now that you put it that way, I know what you're talking about. Lord. Filmy Professor, thank you for the lemon. Dion, thank you for the lemon. Peabody, thank you for the lemon. Bot, thank you for the lemon as well. Peabody, thank you for the ice cream. Appreciate it. Brad Beer Hunter, thank you very much for the lemon as well. And thank you for taking care of that Twisted Soda, who was being a bit of a troll. Don't troll, guys. And we can have fun here without trolling, all right? It can happen. All right, over on YouTube, Rosetta Allen says, okay, I figured out what to do for you. Send me a couple pictures of your dogs. I'll make a drawing of them. That's sweet. Remind me, email me. Blake Hamlow says, my Uncle Graham was a radio man and a guard at a gas depot in Newfoundland during World War II since he couldn't be deployed in Europe due to flat feet. Yeah, that's always the roughest when you want to serve, but you physically are not found to be not able. It's just, it's kind of just, it's crazy when you think about it. I mean, it makes sense because you don't want someone who might not be, and that's the reason why I have a big problem whenever the government tries to get involved with the army and say, oh, we need to be more inclusive. No. Do not ever force any type of restrictions or standards on the military that could impact how effective the military is. Like, never do that. Like, that would be like saying, oh, let anyone that has flat feet enter into the military. No. As far as like being active service, you cannot put certain people together with certain people because troops need to be able to work as a unit. And there are certain things and certain qualities that some people have that will keep them from being able to work as a unit. Because your decision, it might be progressive and woke, but now you've just cost the lives of hundreds of soldiers because of your inclusivity. I think that's ridiculous, and that those decisions should never, ever be made by politicians. John Early says, Allfather, do you like chili? Nah. Depends. It's a popular dish here in Minnesota, especially when it's cold. Well, I'm sure Minnesota chili is pretty good. Rosetta Allen says they got PTSD from an election. What would they do if they were trampled and had their back broken or survived doctors abusing you while choking you in an asthma attack? They're sad little kids. Yeah, Rosetta Allen, seriously. Like, the fact that there are so many more serious things that go on in the world and they had to go to therapy because, oh my God, Donald Trump won an election. That actually is not totally their fault. Because in order for that fear to have been instilled in them, it had to have been instilled by somebody. Who do you blame? College professors, their parents, mainstream media. All of them were culpable in this, what's known now as like Trump derangement syndrome. It doesn't matter what your thoughts are on the guy. Seriously, because I've made it clear from the very beginning, I voted third party. Again, I voted for Evan McMullin. So I'm by no means a huge Trump guy. But at the end of the day, I think it's ridiculous for any person to lose their mind over someone winning an election. It's just ridiculous. Blake Emma says, my Uncle Whit was a soldier who fought in Europe during World War II. He was also a truck driver who got shot plenty of times during the war. Well, prayers. CF Production says, clearly the makers of Batwoman eat brie cheese. Get it? I get it. Daybob. Come on, man. The new way to get my attention is to put Odin question. And the Atmodes movie blog does not work. It does not work, Dave Bob. And I love you, man. And I want to respond to you. But you're lucky that I caught this one because, again, at Odin's movie blog does not pop up orange for me. Only Odin question does. So Dave Bob says, the world will end long after we all, the human race, are dead and gone. Yep. Super says, trigger warnings. Trigger warnings are so irritating. Years ago, war vets were discriminated against and told they were shell-shocked. SJWs hear opinions they don't like and demand coloring books. Yep, they are ludicrous. Tina says, my dad was 101st Airborne, volunteered for 2 tours of duty in Vietnam before we were even fully at war. God bless your father, Tina. That's amazing. Thank your father. Again, prayers out to you and to your family. Prayers to your father for being that brave of a person. Alexander says, from what I saw, the whole show is literally about Trump and CBS has converted terrorist property. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Phantom Menace says, I was in Boston when they were filming Rest in Peace Division. I think it was called about Angels that are cops. Okay. Rosetta Allen says, the Sioux belief is that if you are family no matter how you came in or how distantly. And I think that's a very good way to look at it. Alex McCarthy says, I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, Red Wedding episode. Oh, Lord. Oh, lordy. Super says, I think Game of Thrones is still worth it, but only if you stop watching after season 6. That shot of Dany's fleet sailing is the perfect end. I agree, but if you're going to try and finish it, if your goal is to finish the series, then it's not worth it. I would say it's not worth it if that's your attempt. John Early says, Allfather, I saw the 98 Godzilla, Dr. Dolittle, and Lethal Weapon 4 back in 1998 in the movie theater. Wow. Dr. Dolittle, I actually liked. I like Dr. Dolittle. That was a fun movie. That was a fun time at the theater. That was a fun time at the theater for me. Phantom Menace, thank you. Appreciate it for letting them know how to contact me. James485, what did you think of John Wick 3? Loved it. Best action scene. For the John Wick franchise, it had the best action scenes. Holy crap, the knife fight scene. So damn good. I love that movie. Donovan Martin says, my grandfather served in Vietnam, lived until he was 70 or 80 and died last year due to medical issues in the hospital. Thought about him all day, so thankful I had him in my life. Well, prayers to your grandfather, Donovan Martin. As someone who lost their grandparents very young, and my grandfather on my mom's side served in, was it the Gulf War? No, it may have actually, no, it would have been Vietnam. I know what it means to have someone. Obviously, he wasn't on the ground. He was in the Coast Guard, but still, I know many people who have family members that have served and those who have lost during the time of war. And yeah, I really do think that people who come back from war, our veterans, are some of the most mistreated people, unfortunately, in our current society. And I really do think that we need to do a hell of a lot more to support them. And to see what things like the VA, like the corruption and all of the nonsense that goes on, it just drains you. It really just drains you. Lou says, got a cruise, take it easy. Will you have a good night, Lou? I appreciate you being here. Man. Let's see. Alexander says, I think people like Tim Pool instill fear as well. I mean, here's the thing. I think that there's definitely a point to be made there, Alexander. But at the same time, too, I would much rather someone call out nonsense than not. And even Tim Pool understands it, because if you've watched his videos, all of them, he's even recognized that he knows that he needs to start changing what he's doing, because he does not want to become what everyone else has been too. So I think that you have to take everything that he says in context. Rosetta Allen says, blah, I love my coloring books. It actually helps me practice my drawing techniques, but I get what she means. Yeah. I don't think she was trying to be offensive to anyone that actually uses coloring books. Like, let's just be, I don't think no one was attacking coloring books. Soul says, a lot of my family are military. My brother is a truck mechanic and his wife is a paratrooper until she broke her leg. So now they jump out of planes together for fun. That's awesome, Soul Assassin. Yeah, seriously. Kudos to every single person out there that is a veteran. Rosetta Allen says, my grandfather is a Korea veteran. He's 90 and still around. That's awesome. That is so cool. Thank your grandfather for his service. Prayers heading to you and your family. Alex McCarthy says, my wife and I both agree Game of Thrones ends for us after season 8, episode 2. Been rewatching it because it had my second favorite show since it came on. Yeah, I thought those were filler episodes. I was not a fan, personally. But I'm glad that you liked it. All right, guys, so we're going to start to wrap things up. So let me go ahead and shout out the people that still need to be shouted out. So Brad Beer Hunter, I think I got your lemon, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. Fat Elvis, have a good night. Filmy Professor says, nice beard, by the way. Filmy Professor, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very much, good sir. Appreciate it very, very much. All right, not seeing any at Odin's in the D Live, so I'm going to head back over to the YouTubes. Zinewater says, my mom's uncle was captured in Japan and they tortured him until he lost feelings in his legs. After getting released, he said he didn't blame the people and wanted to serve a mission there. That's awesome. No, seriously, that is awesome. And I think that it speaks to the volume of the human spirit, that even when someone is brought down and torn down, that even then we should never lose sight of a person's humanity. And that, I know that's hard. It's a hard thing to look at. It's hard to see someone who attacks our family, who attacks innocent people as a human, but they're human. Even the worst of the worst people in this world are still human. They have a story. They came from somewhere. And I think that if we continue, as the common phrase goes, an eye for an eye will make the world blind. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to say, oh, if you're getting beat up, don't do anything. Obviously, there's times in which defense is necessary. But I do think that we need to, especially on days like this, when we remember those who made these sacrifices for us, who gave this tremendous sacrifice, of many of which of them gave their lives, dedicated time away from their families, that we need to also remember that we need to do the very best that we can to cultivate an era of peace in our lifetime to the best of our ability. And it's not easy. It's a lot easier to say than to do, but it is possible. It is possible for us to do so, but it starts with us. It starts with how we raise our kids, how we teach our kids. As a teacher, I know this. How we try to expose them to the understanding that we can indeed be different, but still get along. And that if we want the world to continue, and if we really want peace in our world, we've got to come together. All right. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Let me just a couple more things. Super Anime Gamer says, "Oh no, I love coloring books." I know. Trust me. And I know that y'all are talking to each other. Don't worry. No one is trying to talk anyone down about color. Coloring books are fine. The coloring books are fully endorsed by the Odin's Movie Blog channel. Sia Production says, "At last we'll reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have Suri." Rosetta Allen says, "Just a reminder to everyone, Memorial Day equals for fallen vets, Armed Service Day for current service, Veterans Day for living veterans." Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously each day is for a specific purpose, but I like to think of all the people involved, no matter what, because yes, today is a day to remember those who are fallen, but you can't remember those who are fallen without also thinking about the ones who lost them. And you can't think about that without also thinking about those who are currently still in active duty. So I say that instead of just spending one day thinking about these people and wanting the best for them and trying to do the best that we can to support them, we should try and do that every day of our life with everyone. Anyone who, sorry, hit the microphone again. Anyone who's going through a difficult time, anyone that is going through, especially those who give and sacrifice, who put others before their own, who show true love. That's what true love is. True charity, true love is to do something not expecting anything in return, to put your very life ahead of the life, or rather to put the lives of others ahead of the life of your own. And those people especially deserve our love and deserve our respect. And today is absolutely a day in which we remember, we love, and we do the very best we can to try and make the world as good as we possibly can. And that starts with us. We all have the ability to do something. The question is, do we pick up our bootstraps? Do we do something? Or do we stay silent? Phantom Menace says, "Then again, South Park did everything at one point or other right." That's true. Connor Blumberg says, "Please come teach in Ohio." I'm already going to Tennessee, but Connor Blumberg, I appreciate that. James 485 says, "When will the Sori shirts be available?" So sorry. Anna's doing the Sori shirts. I'm going to wait for hers to come out. I might do my own version too, but I'm of course going to try and get that with her because it was her idea to do the shirts in the first place. So, God bless you, Alex McCarthy, man. Seriously. Rosetta Allen says, "Absolutely just an important note to add for information." Absolutely, Rosetta Allen. That's why I think it is important for us to know those distinctions. All right, guys, let me go ahead and shout out my patrons before we end this chat. Let's see, any D-Live people who said anything at the very end. Bot, Dion, Poppyton, Peabody, my D-Live people, you have been awesome. Don't worry, I'm going to open up that chest for you guys in a second. Huge shout out to all of my patrons, though. A Great Jedi, Adam Shawhan, Albertus Magnus, Baptist 702, Brandon Blick over on the Subscribe Star, Brian P, Chicago Joe 47, Dan Maloney, Dark Star 57, Delete System 32, Dion, Edward Coleman, Enrique Evangelista, Entertainment Hacker, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan, Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunka Chunka Funka Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Jerembeck, Laura Story, Matthew Kadish, Mello, this was a person that changed their name, so please let me know if that is a name that you do want to go by now. Mello, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Projar Sarif, Proper Ginevra, Reef Magos, Sir Shenglong, Sir Lanceloto, Theodora the K-Man, the DJD Show, Those Two Bald Guys, and Tina B. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Rosetta Allen says the Hebraic word for love and charity are the same. Remember that often. Absolutely. And that's why, what is the greatest virtue? Love/charity. Because true love is charity. And true charity is love. Alexander says, please say backwards. Nope, won't do it. Entertainment Hacker, thank you very much for that super chat to end things off. Appreciate it. God bless America. God bless all of our active troops. God bless all of our veterans. And especially, God bless those who have given their lives, sacrificed their lives, and may God's blessings be upon them and be upon their families as well. And here on the Odin's Movie Blog channel, we, of course, support our veterans and most especially support those who gave the ultimate sacrifice of their own lives so that way we can continue to enjoy the freedoms that we have and also so that we can try and build a better society, a better tomorrow, not just for us, but for all those around us. So thank you guys so much. Blessed Memorial Day. Again, let us never forget those whose lives have been lost. Let us never forget the impact they had on our lives for those of us who have members of our families or friend groups who have lost their lives. But also let us never forget the sacrifice that was made and the price of that sacrifice, and that we are a part of that price. And do we recognize that we have a role to play in that price that was paid for in the blood of someone else? Or do we step back? Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone out there for your service. Thank you to every single person out there who is a family member of someone who has served or those who have passed away, because you are just as much a part of this as anyone else. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful evening. See you guys tomorrow on DLive for the movie stream. I will post the name of the movie we'll be watching on the Discord. And of course, the chest on Discord will be open very soon. The chest on DLive will be open very soon, but the movie will be decided. I will post the movie that we're going to watch tomorrow before I go to bed over on the Discord. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful night, and as always, God bless.